Can one really learn to conduct? What can you teach these young conductors?
Because there is a technique which can be learned.
There is knowledge of music which can be learned. There is phenomenology, which is the objectivization of the sounding material, which can be learned. Of course, now, not everybody who would have learned all those three fields and mastered them properly would be a conductor, no? But the tragedy in Europe is that we have many talents and no knowledge. And conductors are the most ignorant people in the musical field, after pressmen, which are still more. They don't know even the notes. Conductor, at least they can read the score. A critic wouldn't. He can only say if it's good or not.
What do you think of these conductors competitions that take place
Very
around?
negative.
We have one
Very
in
negative
Denmark.
because jury does not understand anything. The jury is built up completely incompetent people. If they're conductors, they're also dilettantes or professors. This is only the static way of regarding music. Music hasn't got any static. Music is a very dynamic process.
So you maintain that most conductors are ignorant,
Oh,
as you said.
As
How many good
at
conductors?
least the ones I know are ignorant. Maybe some I do not know who would know music.
How do you get to know other conductors? Do you go to concerts? Do you listen to records?
No, but I heard also
Yeah.
now and then one concert, but since long I have not been to concerts.
You once said you have had 6,000 pupils during your lifetime, but until now there hasn't been one who has had the patience, the modesty, and the fanatism
To deepen it, yeah.
to deepen it.
There
Is
was
that so?
none.
Are you feeling disappointed by that?
No, I knew. This is the way.
Are you fatalistic?
No, realistic I am.
Realistic?
Yeah.
But it means also that very few of your ideas has spread around in the world to the
Of
next
course
generation.
not. They are not everyday ideas and they cannot be popular.
Do you think there will be someday?
No.
No?
No. Oh my goodness. You know.
But still you go on teaching young people and
Yes,
hope.
because also I was taught by others. I cannot hold it for myself.
No. How did you learn to conduct?
Also from teachers and a part of my own, and I made experience with the sound myself. But I was taught like everybody else.
I would now like to talk a little about orchestras. In Denmark, you have conducted 4 different orchestras through the years. You have conducted the Kongelige Kapelle, the radio orchestra, and now you have conducted recently Odense Byorchester, and here you conduct students from the conservatory. Is there a line in that? You go from the established orchestras and prefer the unexperienced people?
No.
Are they easier to mold and to work with?
It's not at all a matter of preference. You start with the most representative orchestras of a country when you get to it, and you try to make what you can with them. It's not a relationship or not an intention. All that.
Where do you find the greatest satisfaction?
Oh, you see, the last experience with Odense was so positive. That was one of the best concerts I ever did. I never succeeded to make the concerts I wanted with the radio. At the beginning, I did some good concerts with the Königliche Kapelle, but they went so down. 2 years ago, I went to a performance. You would not believe that such a performance can be accepted or it can be presented to the public. No ambition whatever. We take the things as they are. So the problem of the radio orchestra is this discrepancy between some extraordinary people and some extraordinary amateur dilettantes and aggressive ignorance. I was told one of the orchestras pretended I did not know the score of Berg. My goodness. See, this does not reflect but his deep shyness towards intelligence. This is an idiot, only an idiot who would not understand either what a score is, not what I do. I can understand that he doesn't understand what I do, but does not what a score is. This happened first time, I hope also the last time in my life that I hear such a sentence.
Does this happen to you elsewhere in Europe?
No.
Or is it only here?
This is, as I say, the first time, and I hope the last time. But what the discrepancy between people, extraordinary people who have some people in the radio orchestra who could play in any big international orchestra, and together with some which I understand not how they have been accepted to take such a seat in a representative orchestra. It was also a matter of age. We had people who were 73 years old. The reflex of such a man are not anymore musical. He cannot. So I could not deal with that. And they were always a little bit under what I expected, because when you start with an orchestra, they have an idea how far could they come. So it was always under.
What about other European orchestras? Have you any preference there? Do you prefer German orchestras, French?
I don't have at all a preference. I could not say I work with Odense. I have a preference for Odense. Why did I go to Odense? Because one man asked me, what a miracle should happen to come to Odense. I said, I will come without a miracle. And he took me by word, and is that a preference?
It's not a question of the attitude of the orchestras. Is the attitude different in England, the attitude towards working in an orchestra?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. They are extremely bourgeoisie, the Danish. They are dying, they are buried in comfort and in lack of ambition. Everything, they take it for granted. Denmark is this. It's not true. Why do I conduct the young people? To show this is Denmark. This is Denmark. They will get also spoiled, because the musical life is not right in Denmark. But I would not say I have a preference for the young. But if you ask me, are you content with them? I will tell you, I am very happy. They will play Iberia much better than ever the orchestra of the radio could have played. So, and this is a statement I stand for.
I see, yes. It is some sort of enlightened dictatorship you exercise, so to speak. I mean, you are the conductor who knows the score.
I'm not a dictator.
No, I didn't say.
Mozart is the dictator.
Yeah.
He did it this way. I am only the one who should put it into work, realize it.
But I mean, your attitude towards the orchestra as compared with other conductors, you are the one who decides.
I do not know what other conductors do, but if I see this is forte is done so, it is framed by those instruments, I have no choice. I have to make it as it is written. And I have not to give in until I get it. This is not the attitude of a dictator.
No.
If you can prove that I represent only my ideas, yes, this is to be discussed.
But I was going to ask you if you find it more difficult in these days of increasing democracy to exercise that role.
No, a good musician is always willing to do and to give his best. And we have fantastic musicians also in Denmark. And the bad one will always stay before, because he's tolerated. But the social state will provide, nobody will touch him. He's a holy pope without a crown, even if he is buried in ignorance. This is the social state. This problem exists partly also in Germany.
What is your attitude to contemporary music?
I don't know what you mean contemporary music. There are very much nonsense today is written as modern music, and they are also very good music. I mean, I am open to any kind of music. I do not know what contemporary means. Music, and good music, is ageless and timeless. I don't know anybody more modern than Bach, and don't know any musician more classical than Nørgaard.
And you have played Nørgaard?
No, because he requires, what his music requires extremely a special kind of presentation. You cannot do it like you do a Fifth Symphony with a mediocre orchestra. Either everything is done the way he puts it, or you leave it. I need for a symphony, I intended to do the second symphony of him, and I made myself an idea. I needed 7 rehearsals only for 20 minutes of music. So nobody will give you that.
But in that way, music written today will be excluded from your programs in the future.
It is excluded, because today musical world is commercial. And I am merchant myself. I have to make a living out of music. So which is the society which will say, no, we're not going every week concert. For Norgor, we'll be making 1 week of work, and the second week will be the concert of the concert. So this is out of question. But I don't see any other way to present him. And I still pretend Norgor has not been yet first performed. It's a very dilettante approach. He sent me a score, which I liked very much, of the Third Symphony. He sent me also a record of it, with which he might be happy. I was very unhappy. I could not recognize anything of what he has written. Such a mess of not understanding of functions, of not structuring the main octaves of the orchestra.
It has also been said that playing contemporary music in an orchestra spoils the standard of playing Mozart, for example. Do you agree with that?
If you deal with music, not if you do that noise they do today, because now it's a sport for making noise or creating impression. Music has nothing with impression to do. Music transcends impression. And if it is transcendable, nothing will be spoiled. If it stays if the aim is only the effect, sounding effect, of course everybody will get spoiled. So, but who is the authority would say this is music and this is not? So there we are. Your consciousness only. This is where so on a white,
and it does never get a chance. No.
Never have a chance. Yes.
You also don't make gramophone recordings.
No.
But still, one can hear your interpretations on radio, old concerts and things.
If I would say no to the radio, who are the only societies who can give you rehearsals, I should close the
That's right.
the business.
But then why don't you prefer to make an excellent gramophone record?
There are none. I've never sent any good, not excellent, not good. There is nothing on the record which is also in the music.
No, but perhaps you could make it that way.
Nobody can. When you go through the machine, you lost one dimension. Lost.
It's a technical problem.
No,
mainly.
it's an impossibility. Space, musical space, cannot be reduced to 2 dimensions. And if you think you could replace space by stereophony, by having 4
Loudspeakers.
loudspeakers which will give you the illusion that one is back, one is left, and so this is only your way of not being able to hear in depth. This is all. Nobody can make records.
But then you must accept in that way to be represented by tape recordings on the radio.
No, I'm not represented. I fight that.
That's the way we hear you.
Would you contract me without the transmission? No, you would not. So then I had to do what? To do another profession. Yes.
I noticed the other day that during intervals in your rehearsals, you often go to your own room and play Romanian folk music on the piano. It's a kind of
it happened to be Romanian, but it's not
no,
always.
But you have done that before. Is that a kind of musical expression which you miss in your concert performance?
I do not know why I do it. If I do it, it's really unconsciously, so like a child. Maybe the tension of the rehearsal goes away. I don't know. I never thought of it.
It's pure therapy.
Yes, no. Therapy means you have an aim to get
for relaxation.
For me, no. Also, I do not have the idea to relax. If I find a piano, I play something. If I say very often, I do not touch it.
Do you miss Romanian music? That
no,
kind,
not at all. No, I do not miss any music.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
Why don't you miss now? Don't know.
I couldn't live without music.
You couldn't?
No.
Oh, I can very well.
Yeah, but you got so much of it. You have 10 hours a day and all year.
Maybe one of the reasons, but I don't think music should be made out of a need.
A need to create something. That's important.
I don't believe in the need for creation. I believe in the need for expressing yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's another need. You said it shouldn't be made without a need.
Yes, I think music, it's without a need. Nobody asked Bach, can you write me for next Sunday? He was writing. And most of his music, he has not heard it.
That's right.
See?
It
goes, it comes.
What's most important to you, the rehearsals or the concert? The final result or the work?
But of course, we start with the idea to reach a final result, of course, if you put the question. So it is the final result which is more important. But for me, there is no difference between a rehearsal and a concert. the capacity of correlating functions, one in function of the others, is the same.
Because one often gets the impression that you seem to brighten up during rehearsals. That's the time when you enjoy making music.
Maybe you brighten up in going deeper and deeper and deeper in the matter I clear.
Yeah, perhaps I do, but I was talking about you.
No, for me,
No?
of course, at the beginning I cannot enjoy as much as the end, because first of all I have to clear all the parts, to put them again together. So this starts little by little, and of course in the third rehearsal there's much more music than it was at the beginning. This justifies the third rehearsal, otherwise we would play without rehearsing.
But I mean, the higher your ambition is to make a good concert.
I don't have any ambition.
You have the ambition to make a good concert,
Not ambition.
or else it wouldn't be worthwhile making.
Not an ambition. This is a fact. I could not start something without the idea I will get it good. Not an ambition. It's a wrong word.
Okay, then it's
I
wrong
do not
word.
have an ambition.
But I was going to say, if your ambition is that high, and the more rehearsals you have, the more you work with the orchestra, the greater the risk is that the concert does not fall out the way you want it. Do you often get disappointed?
I cannot
at the
at all
concert?
follow you. Then all the work I do is wrong. Ping. What is the concert finally? A very well succeed and very well made rehearsal.
So you are never disappointed at the end of the concert?
Very often disappointed, but not because of my work, what I did in the rehearsals, because people get afraid, people get not self-conscious about what they do. If you do not get the orchestra to that point, they will have half a little of cognac to be quiet in the concert.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the results will be negative. But this does not happen with a professional orchestra, with the real Berlin Philharmonic or Orchestre France, Orchestre National Français or London Symphony. Never. The natural result of the whole effort of the week is the last concert. And this is the concert.
What role does the audience play in this?
None.
None at all.
It makes a little bit, normally, the acoustic worse than in the rehearsals.
That's a negative influence.
It is, yes. This happened in Odense. We had fantastic rehearsals, and the first concert did not sound so well because we were very surprised by the softness of the sound, by the lack of resonance. Because,
Is that to say that you play music not so much to please the audience as to please yourself?
I never thought of pleasing myself or pleasing the others. Of course, if this would not mean a pleasure to me, I would not be able to do it. But I think this is a much deeper question than it seems. What is art? Art is liberty. The way to gain liberty. And music is transcendence. You go over the impression, the sound impression. Otherwise you will not know where you are, nor where you come from, nor where you go to. Music is transcending continuously sound. And this you cannot transcend anything if joy takes you that much that you do not know what to do.
So if the audience applauds you warmly after a disappointing concert,
this hurts me very much.
Yeah.
But if they applaud after a good concert, I think this is so beautiful.
it belongs to
Which means, in a way, they made the same way as we did. They could follow. Though I'm convinced nobody from the audience can. Unless you make all the rehearsals and you are a very man with high gifts, the beginning and function of the end, and so to transcend, to go over the sound. So who can that really?
You often prefer French music on your repertoire. Is that
That's your impression.
That's my impression.
That's
It's
my
not so.
impression. No, because in Denmark also, Gertler asked me to do this because they are very bad with French music, and I know very well French music. I should make it to French music. Not at all. I don't have any preferences. I do as well old Italian Monteverdi as I would do Nogo. Not because I have a preference for Nogo.
And sometimes looks that way in the concert because it sometimes brings out gestures.
Your bourgeois way of looking at the activity of concert.
Yeah.
No preference at all.
But I
And
judge it from what I see you do.
yes, of course, you cannot judge it in a different way, yes. But it's not me. You do not touch a single point which touches also me, if you think that way. No preferences. I do a piece, polka by Strauss. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
A symphony Mozart. I adore it. What?
Any music you hate? Any music you never would touch?
No, I never do music I do not like. I do not touch Weber. I do very little Mahler because he's lacking form of architecture. He always starts properly, never knows how to end. I do compromise in that meaning because there are some Bruckner symphonies which have a bad last movement because his breath was not holding on. He was too tired at the end, and he missed 3 movements. But I have to do it because of the sake of the others. I don't think the 9th Symphony of Beethoven is a great symphony, not at all. The first 3 movements are wonderful. The last is an incredible salad. 3 months after he finished, he wanted to cut it, but who would let him to do so? Then forget, and then we think, wonderful 9th of Beethoven. No, it's a very poor last movement. Eroica. Last movement Eroica, it's a very poor modulation. He goes twice over us, which not a single student would do so. But the first movement, the first 3, wonderful.
So you play them now and then? If somebody
of
wants.
course I cannot, because of that I cannot not show him.
No.
Yeah.
You often play with Japanese orchestras.
Not often. I was twice in Japan, and I know only one orchestra, Yomiuri. So not often, and I do not know the others. I heard in Italy once NHK orchestra, and I thought it was a very modest orchestra with a fantastic percussion group, because it was a Japanese piece. There was 16 percussion. I don't think anybody in the world could perform what they have performed in that introduction. But otherwise, it's a mediocre orchestra.
But it doesn't matter that they do not have the same tradition in Japan as we have in Europe, as long as
No.
the conductor has a tradition.
As long as the musician who sits in the orchestra, open man,
is a tool for you, so
yes,
to speak.
they can't.
That's enough.
The most beautiful solo, the 4th of Brahms, was the Japanese who did it. You know, my whole life, my whole career, not Berlin Philharmonic. See,
Yeah.
it looks other
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Are you influenced by outer things like the weather?
How would I know?
Climate? Well, you sometimes look like that. You
Yes,
look that way.
I must be as the other people are, but not consciously. I mean, today weather depresses me as it depresses you, I think. So, but I don't know. I'm not especially sensitive to weather.
But as soon as you start playing music, does that change?
If I do not get rid of all my personal problems when I start making music, I cannot make it.
What happens then? Because you have to go through rehearsal, even if you have personal problems.
I do not have them.
You don't have them.
How do I transcend that sound if I have to know I'm here and no, this you're away, you're not there anymore. Otherwise you stay in the sound. The sound is not the aim, sound is a vehicle. It transports something.
You don't seem to be a man of compromise. You're now 66 years.
I might not seem, but I am not one.
You
I
are
never compromised in my life, not
No,
consciously
no.
at least.
Has there been a change in that? Have you become more and more determined when you
Always.
grow older, or you have
No.
always been like that?
No, always, yes.
Has that given you many enemies, many friends?
I might have enemies, but I don't know them. And I have many, many friends, of course. Not only musical friends, also human. I think I'm interested in the destiny of everybody.
Do you consider the orchestra as enemies, friends, or
Oh, friends. Oh, yeah, I would not be able to conduct if I consider them not friends.
have you tried any animosity between you and an orchestra, so you couldn't work
Oh,
together?
I found, of course, people who would hate working because I'm very much insisting on things they cannot do. Yes, but this is normal. In any big orchestra, you can find 15 people who could not follow, even in a perfect orchestra, American orchestra, which are yes, some, of course, are very much routineered and do not want to work. They pretend they know everything, so of course. This is not to be avoided.
No. So you seem to be a man in constant search of the of perfection, so to speak? Do you
No.
think you will ever be satisfied?
This is a very bourgeois definition. I'm not in searching of anything. But if you tell me, can you do some gardening for me? I say, I'm not a specialist, but can you do this? Yes, I will do this. This I know how to do. So I'm asked to do music. If I would be a rich man, I would not conduct as much as I do now. I'm very much conducting also for my students, because whatever I teach them is theoretically, it's abstract. We don't have an orchestra to practice. So they see the application or the justification of the whole attitude, the phenomenological attitude, only when they hear the concert, on a concert of mine. So I have to conduct also. I live on conducting, I don't have money myself. So if I had the possibility really to concentrate, I would open a very big school of not music, but of conducting, related of course to music. And then I will conduct only to show, look, this is to be done this way, and you can do it the same way.